Hi, this is Dave Huckemacki, and I am going to help you successfully run a home-based business, helping you learn how to separate the clutter from the business. The economy is crap, and it has been for the last few years. So it's hard to find a business space, entice customers to come in and make them want to spend at your business. So a lot of photographers are now going into home-based businesses, or they're contracting their business into home-based business, or they're trying to find another alternative for this dead-end job that they have and make it a home-based business. And in fact, you can make it work. You just have to separate business and home. Because if you want to be successful and have the client feel like they're coming to a business and they want to spend money at that business, they don't want to come up and see Elmo sitting on the floor. They don't want to see the dog running around the yard in the front yard barking at them. They don't want to see or smell the dirty dishes. They don't want to hear the kids screaming. And what I have to do is basically tie my kids up. I physically duct tape them, take a rope, and put them in the closet. So I don't tell social services. So my family has grown up with a home-based photography residential studio. And my kids from day one would hear, and you'd hear, it's funny, we actually do a small clip in my talks around the country, is you'll have chaos going on throughout the house and kids fighting, and somebody's pulling somebody's hair, and there's something being taken from one kid, and you hear chaos, and all of a sudden you hear the phone ring, and it's like instant silence, and you'll hear crickets chirping. And my kids have been trained, and every once in a while you hear quiet, and then it's just silence, and then you answer the phone, and the client thinks they're calling a regular business and not somebody's chaotic lifestyle. And they come in, and it's nice, it's neat, it smells nice, and they come into my studio, and they feel at home, because they are home. They're at somebody's home, and they like that. They like that personal feel. They like that comfort, and being in a small area, they like that. It's not in this very high glitz and glam studio. It's not in this high pressure sales. They feel like they're coming into somebody's home to have a conversation or have cocktails or have lunch or coffee. And that puts them really at ease. And it's great. And my workload keeps me busy, and when work is done, I just walk to a different room. And if my kids need something, I'm able to schedule around that. So it's really been convenient for me. And a lot of people are finding that, but the key is to successfully do it, you really have to draw that line and say, this is business, this is pleasure, this is home. And you have to try to separate those two and not let the client see too much of the home, and let them think they're coming into a legitimate business. How would you feel going into buying legal services, and you're coming in, and Junior in his diaper answers the door, and the cat is out there clawing at your leg? Are you going to feel comfortable hiring this person to represent you in court? Same thing for a photographer. They have to have that feeling of you're professional. You know what you're doing. Yes, they understand you're in your home, but they want that solidity of you're a professional. You're going to provide them with a good product, and it's not going to be some debacle. That's kind of how it works with me. And it works successfully. But then again, if you have kids, you have to train them. And it is funny because they know, my kids, they've grown up in this, and they actually help out a lot. They help out with packaging. They help out with going and just collecting forms and that's soccer shoots and things like that. And every once in a while you'll catch something really funny where my 9-year-old son will answer the phone and he knows it's me because he sees it on the caller ID, and he'll answer, Cutting Edge Photography. In this little squeaky business voice. It's so funny to hear that, because it's so ingrained. He hears me answer it that way, and he, without knowing, instead of "Hi Dad," he answers it with the business title, and it was just classic. So yes, they are trained.
Do you have any sort of practical tips on, I mean, you got to do dishes, right? So how do you get the house smelling good after that? Or, you know, where do you keep the toys when clients are coming?
Organization. You have to be organized. You have to be on top of things. You really have to have a schedule. You have to know when people are coming over. You or whoever else is in that household has to understand people are coming over, and cleanup time occurs half an hour before if you have something out, and everybody has that, and some of that will spill over. But if you have a schedule, you realize you have a schedule, and the clients allow for a little bit of clutter here or there, a basketball lying in the driveway. They understand they're coming into a home, so they're not going to freak out. It doesn't have to be immaculate. But dishes are segregated, and you just try not to show too much of the personal space in the home-based business, because if people get too into your living space, then they just get that feeling of, well, I'm in somebody's home. Yeah, they're just doing this as a hobby. They don't take this serious, things like that. But if they feel, if there's a portion of the house that can be dual purpose, and it looks nice, it looks neat, it looks professional, you could still use it as a dining room. You can still use it as a den area, or you can use it as a bathroom that can be used for personal use as well as business use. People, they accommodate that. People are very accommodating in that respect. They don't have a problem. But if it starts looking too, I guess if you want to say homey, that becomes the issue where the client gets a little iffy about that business. Is it really a business again? So you really have to be, one, organized. Two, you have to be diligent about doing it. You have to set your priorities that if I am going to have a business in a home, I have to understand I am giving up part of my home to have it look like a business. And if you can do that, you can operate a very successful home-based business. If you can't, that's where the problems occur. That's where the clients don't come back. That's where they don't refer friends. It doesn't matter how wonderful your photography is if they're not comfortable coming in to a business. And photography is a business. You either operate it like a business or you do it as a hobby. That's how the client perceives it. You can think that it's a business and operate it very casually, but you have to look at it from the client. How do they perceive your business? So yeah, you can do it. It just takes practice. It just takes training. It just takes organization.